a solid team for United. It's not going to be unrealistic either. I know a lot of people, especially sort of these bigger clubs, they want really unrealistic players because they're such big clubs. They think they can attract anyone. I think fans of all clubs really are a bit just bit weird, and I think they can just attract bigger players than what they can. But I'm doing some realistic transfers that United can get. It's going to make them a solid squad. They're playing in Europe next season. So their budget is, it says here about 150 million, but then recently I saw an article saying 250 million. So we're going to do around 180 million. I think's sensible. They're going to sell a few players as well. So we're going to do around 180 mil. So what do they need? A starting left back. I think Luke Shaw. It's not been that bad this season, but they need to improve in that area if they want to get to the next level. Shaw as well, he's obviously had a lot of injuries in the past. He's in his 30s now. Don't know how he managed to play 30 odd games this season. Strange how when there's like a World Cup year or a Euros year, he manages to play a lot of games. Really weird that. But no, I think he's alright, but I think they need to improve, and he's getting older, and with his injury record he's probably gonna get worse, considerably worse, quite soon. Dorgu as well. I haven't got a backup left winger here because I think Dorgu's going to be the backup left winger. Did really well playing in that position since Carrick came in. So I'm going to have Luke Shaw as the backup and bring in a starting left back. Bringing a starting holding midfielder as well. Casemiro's obviously leaving. Agate's going to be leaving, so we also need a backup holding midfielder. A backup 8 for Mainu. If I was the manager, I would want Mainu being the main 8 because he's possibly £100 million player there, come from your academy. Think about how good he was at the Euros a couple of years ago, 18 years old, starting in a Euros final. He has so much potential. Obviously, Carrick sees that in him. He's been playing him a lot more, and I think he should be the main 8. But then, obviously, you need a good player competing with him and sort of pushing him, someone he can learn from as well. And then you need either a striker or a right winger. If you bring in a striker, and Bumo and Ahmad can be your 2 right wingers. If you bring in a right winger, and Bumo and Sesko can be the strikers. So it depends on whether Carrick wants Bumo to play as a striker or a winger. I'd probably rather him playing on the right if it was me. So yeah, left back. I think we need someone quick, attack-minded, and a good crosser. You've got Sesko in the box. You need to put crosses into him. Also, Cunha, he plays sort of as like a left-sided 10, so that is a lot of space on the left. Let me get my tactics up here. So say this is United, yeah, very tactical thing I've got going on here, but whatever. Let's just say this is United. Cunha, he plays on the left, obviously, but he is in between the left and the 10, so I feel like he plays in this sort of role here, where he can sort of cut inside, shoot. And Bumo can do that as well, but I feel like he comes wide more and can play along here and cut inside from, wide right. Your left back, I think they need someone who's quick that can get up and down here, because there's going to be, say, Cunha's here, Bruno's there, and Bumo and Bremo, still don't know what to call them, around here, stretching the pitch. Got all this space here. If you can get a quick attacking fullback there that can overlap Cunha, then I think that would take him to the next level. And then this could be a back 3. You could have Dalot as a right side of centre half in that back 3, or Mazraoui. Both of them can play that. So anyway, let's get back to the. So that's what you need, I think. And I've gone with Nathaniel Brown. Dorgu can do that as well, by the way, with his pace and that, but he's not very technical. And like I say, I think he should be the backup left winger. Nathaniel Brown, obviously quick, good crossing, 4 goals, 4 assists. I might have gone up a bit. I think I did this a few weeks ago. Still only 22 years old. He's played as a wing back and even on the wing, so obviously he's very attack minded and he's really technical as well. And the thing I like about him is, say you do have Dorgill on the left. Obviously he's gonna just be a traditional winger. Hug the touchline, get crosses in. Nathaniel Brown can also sort of come inside as well. So if I get my really technical graph back up, this is shit, innit? I should have prepared better for this. But say Dorgu's here, he's going to just be playing like this, running up and down the touchline and getting crosses in. Nathaniel Brown, he can play, like I say, as a winger, as a wing back, but he can also play in this sort of role. He can also come inside and he's very comfortable on the ball. So say you've got Mainu here and a holding midfielder. Mainu could then go forward and you could have like a 3-2-4-1 formation here. So it gives them, whoever they're playing on the left, Nathaniel Brown can either play as like a wing back or he can come inside. He's very sort of versatile. So I think it's perfect. I think it'd be about 60 million. Yeah, so that's the left back position. Hold a midfielder. You want someone who's obviously really strong defensively, can cover the ground. Old Trafford's got a big pitch. I know it's a bit of a weird thing to say, but different grounds do have different sizes. And you listen to people like Roy Keane, he's always talking about, well, not always, but he talks about how big that pitch is and how much energy you need to get across that pitch as a midfielder. Obviously, he would know being a midfielder. So you want pace. Well, not. You want athleticism. You want players that can cover ground and they can do it for 90 minutes. Casemiro couldn't do that. He ain't got the legs. He's obviously a very intelligent player, but you want legs in midfield, and you want someone who's physically strong. So that's why I've gone with this fella here. Another player from Sporting Lisbon. He's got all the attributes. Very strong. He's great in the air as well. Defensively, really solid. Reads the game really, really well. He's a leader. He's the captain of Sporting. He has such a high work rate. He's a beast in the air. He's like 6'4", and he's also really good. Some of the goals he scores, he can just smash it from 30 yards out, hitting the top bins. So he also adds that as well. If you're playing for Man United or one of these big clubs, it's almost not enough as a holding midfielder just to, be defensively good. Now you need to be able to progress the ball as well, or be a threat from 30 odd yards out and come up with the odd goal. And that's what he does. His passing is strong. He can progress the ball as well, and he can score screamers. Obviously, he's coming from the Portuguese league, which is a bit hit or miss, but they got Bruno from Sporting, didn't they? They also got Amorim and Agate. But I think he'd be perfect. He's really strong on the ball. The way he wins the ball back and dribbles with it is a little bit like Moussa Dembele. Used to love that guy. So yeah, he'd be about 45 mil, relatively cheap. He's about 26 years old, I think, so he's right in his physical prime, and I think it's a solid choice. Backup holding midfielder. I made this a couple of weeks ago. And United are close to signing holding midfielder, Edison, who it was between him and this guy as the backup. But I'm going with Papa Gay. Papa Gay Boy. Papa Gay Boy, he's similar qualities as the other fella. I'm terrible with foreign names. But he's not quite as good in the air and he's shooting it as good, but he has a lot of energy. Just like the other fella, and he can cover ground really well, and he can progress the ball really well. That's something that a lot of people say about him, and you can see it in his game. He sort of splits the makes those long breaking passes sometimes. He's playing in the higher league as well, playing in La Liga. He's got a release clause of about 39 mil, and to be fair, I could see him being a main holding midfielder as well. They definitely would compete with each other. Not sure who would be the starting one. I think the fella from Sporting Lisbon would establish himself as a star, but could go either way, to be fair. So you've got two really good, solid midfielders that can cover ground, have a lot of energy, can run around the pitch, get around that big pitch, and defend really well, and also progress the ball. So you've completely changed that position there. You've put a lot of energy in it. Casemiro ain't got the legs. He ain't really got the legs either. Or maybe he does, but he just doesn't really seem like he gives a shit, and doesn't really want to track back or cover the ground. But these two definitely will. They have really high work rates, so you've got a lot of energy there, and they're quite cheap as well. Back up 8. I changed my mind on this one, but I've gone with Frank Kessie. He's going to be a free transfer. He's going to be on a shit ton of wages. He's going to be on like 300 grand a week. But this guy, really athletic, really strong, got pace, dribbling, experience. He's another player that can just run around all game as well, just like the other two. So he adds a lot of strength and athleticism. He can bully players. He's just an athletic freak, really. He's played at the top level, played for Barca, and played at... forgetting who he played for now. It was in Italy, wasn't it? It wasn't Inter, was it? No. AC Milan, wasn't it? Yeah, AC Milan. He's been in Saudi, but he's still only 29 years old. Still in his athletic prime, probably. And he's just a box-to-box midfielder. Adds a lot of energy, can come up with goals, assists. And it would be a player that Manu can look up to as well. You know, he's got a lot of experience. And he could keep Manu out the team for a few games, to be fair. But I feel like he's someone who's not too good that he's just going to play every game and Manu's not going to play enough. But he's also good enough where you've got a strong squad there. They're playing in the Champions League. There's going to be a lot of games. And he's a free transfer as well. He's going to be on a lot of wages, but United can obviously pay that. They like spending, like giving players big contracts, don't they? But free transfer. I was going to go with Hackney, which is a bit of a sort of rogue one. United have been linked with him, but I can't really... To be fair, Carrick's the manager now, so you might go with Hackney. Having managed him at Borough, but yeah, he's such a good player in the Championship, but such a massive step up to go into Man United. He's really creative, press resistant. I've got all these things for him, but I changed my mind to Frank Kessie. Kessie's played at the top for a long time. Right winger. So, like I say, you can go with either a right winger or a striker here. My pick for a right winger would be Jarrod Bowen. Cheap, 25 mil, Premier League proven, he's English. And I think him and Ahmad on the right would be enough, to be fair. You look at options of, you look at who like Arsenal have got on the left. They've got Martinelli and Trossard. Ahmad and Bowen, that's just as strong, if not stronger. If you can get the best out of Bowen, obviously he's getting older. If you can get the best out of him, and Ahmad as well, who was like their best player at one point last season. You've got a couple really good players there. And it'd be cheap, 25 mil. And it'd just be really solid sign and add depth to their team as well. I think Bowen said that he's willing to stay with West Ham in the Championship, but if United come in for him, I can't see him saying no. And then my choice for a backup striker or striker to compete with Sesko would be Mateta. Lovely bald head there. Don't know why I made him that big, really. Mateta, another Premier League proven player. It'd be quite cheap. He's only got a year left on his contract, right? So there's not that many strikers going that are cheap. You want Sesko to be the main striker. You spent all that money on him. He's shown how well he can play this season. He's sort of come to grips with the league. He's getting used to it. And I think he could have a really good season next year. So you want someone to compete with him, give them good depth, but also not be... I think you want Sesko being the main man. So Mateta, year left on his contract, 30 mil. Premier League proven. and he's a similar style with Sesko as well. You know, he's a big man, strong, holds the ball up, can bring others into play. I think it'd be perfect really because he holds, like I say, holds the ball up well, and he links play up with the players behind him. You know, think about how many chances he created for Eze and Elise, the space that he made for him. They played their best football when they was with him, because he does create that space. He lays it off to him. He's a big target man. And he can do that with Cunha and Mbeumo as well. They're both players that, you know, Cunha, like I say, plays as like a 10 almost, like a left-sided 10. They score tons of goals. They run in behind. So you want a striker that can bring them into play as well. And I think he'd be perfect for them, really. He'd be nice and cheap, about 30-odd mil. They brought in Strand Larsen, who's playing ahead of him now. Mateta wants to leave as well. He got linked with Juventus. But again, I think United would be able to sign him quite easily if they really wanted him. So yeah, total cost of that is around 169 to 174 mil. It's not loads of money. They're going to be selling people like Agate. Hoyland's gone as well. Xerxes. So yeah, that's a realistic transfer window, I think. You know, you bring in some good players, couple Premier League a Premier League proven player. You bring in players that are in their prime, really athletically. It's not massive amounts of money other than the left back, but I feel like that'd be worth it. I think that'd be such a good sign, and he can add depth. He can add, well, not depth. He can add, what's the word, versatility. You know, he can come inside and play as an inverted fullback or play as like a wing back. So I think it'd be perfect. But yeah, less than 180 mil. I think that's bloody good. Obviously, Kessie's there as well. He's a free. It'll be a lot of wages. He's been linked with going back to Italy, but if United come in for him again, I think it'd be hard to say no. Some people might say that this isn't like ambitious enough. They should be going for like, I don't know really. Some people were saying Mbappe, but I think this is just a solid group of players you can bring in, have a lot of energy, will work their absolute bollocks off. You want good characters for United. They've had shit characters for a long time. They're starting to get better characters in now. These are players that, a couple of them are captains at their club. And they all work really hard. I think stylistically they fit in as well. And they give them good depth and quality going into a season where they'll be playing in the Champions League. And, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So, see you later.